Welcome back to this episode 11 of the beginner series, where I'm going to show you how to properly turn on and start a dirt bike, whether it's carbureted or fuel injected, whether the engine is hot or cold. There's a list of steps that you need to go through to safely and properly turn it on, whether it's kickstart or electric start. So going to the old school carbureted dirt bike, there's going to be a petcock or a fuel valve generally in this area on the left side. So generally have to turn it up to on, and this is a trail bike, so it also has reserve. But if there's enough gas in there, you always want to turn it to on. That way when it does run low on gas, the engine will shut off, and then you can turn it on to reserve to ride a little bit longer to get back to camp or your house or whatever. And then since it's a carburetor, it has a manual choke, and this can be in a different spot depending on the bike. So you just pull it out, or on another bike you might have to flip it up. It could be located here, or more on the carb, or some bikes have it up here next to the switch, or just on the triple clamp. And then this one has a key, so you just turn the key on, and then the ignition switch, engine stop, and then engine run, and then it's ready to be started. Now the choke, you need the choke on when the engine is cold. So what is a cold engine? Well, it's simply just the first time you start the bike for the day, or if the engine is fully cooled down to air temperature. And a hot engine is when you've already been running it for at least several minutes, it's still cooling down. So generally a colder engine is harder to start, and it requires a richer fuel mixture. So it requires more gas and less air to start, and that's what the choke does. It allows more fuel through the carb into the engine to give it a little bit more fuel to get it started when the engine is cold. You don't need to run the choke very long, sometimes just a few seconds, sometimes a couple minutes. The engine will start to sputter and it won't run well with poor throttle response, and then you know they need to turn the choke off. Or if you're on a fuel injected bike, they don't even have a fuel valve. It's basically just the ignition key and then the engine on. You see the light will coming on, it's prepping, and then once it shuts off, press the e-start or kickstart it. Sometimes some bikes like my WR450, it has a button that you have to push to turn it on instead of the key. If you have an electric start, you can just press and hold the button. I would hold it for anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds, and if it doesn't start, we'll just let it sit for a few seconds and then try it again for another 3 to 5 seconds. You can do that 2 to 3 times, and if it's nowhere near starting, like it doesn't pop off or do anything that sounds like it's wanting to start, then there might be a problem. Maybe you don't have gas, maybe the carb's dirty from sitting, but you want to start to look into it if it's not starting after like the 3rd or 4th try. Where if you have the kickstart, old school, which I'm going to show you here, first you just want to slowly kick it over just to make sure that the engine turns over, and then you want to find top dead center, which is more important on a 4-stroke because they have more compression. So you slowly kick it over, and then you bring it back up to the top, and then you slowly push down. You feel that little bit of resistance. You get past that very first part of resistance, and then you bring it back up. You put pressure back down on it without pushing down, and then you give it a good solid kick. And I should be doing this with dirt bike boots on, because you can really put a hole through your tennis shoes, but this bike is really easy to start, so I felt safe enough doing it for this. Do as I say, not as I do. So, and then if you're on a tall dirt bike, or if there's just a lot of compression and it's hard to kick over, then sometimes you have to kind of put pressure on the Kickstarter, and then you have to jump up and use all of your weight in it. Remember, you don't want to snap down on the lever. You want to start with pressure on it so you don't crack the kickstart gears. So always keep pressure on it before you kick it, and then put all of your weight into it to kick it over. Now you got to start it so it's ready to ride, right? No. Just wait. There is a proper way to warm up your dirt bike so that you keep it reliable. So subscribe for episode 12 coming out tomorrow, or if it's already out, click right here so that you properly warm up your dirt bike, not too quickly, but not too long so it doesn't damage your bike. And then share this with a friend, because we're going on in this beginner series to stay safe without breaking the bank to get started dirt biking or something like that. Yeah, I'm Kelly Baker from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more.